Today, we're going to take a look at this really...
I'm done. I quit. I've turned the paperwork in. This is it.
You quit, you what?
I quit.
So you're just not filming anymore?
No. I didn't quit you guys. I'm quitting my teaching job.
Oh, that's right, guys. The old song that you guys remember from the 60s, Take This Job and Shove It? That's what she's basically done to her teaching job. She's done. How long have you been teaching?
26 years.
26 years, and she said you guys can stick it where the sun doesn't shine. So, because of you guys, we're doing well enough that Mrs. Wizard doesn't need to work anymore, and we're very thankful to you guys for that.
12 and 10-hour days is not fun.
Right. She'll be around the shop a lot more, be able to help here, we'll be able to do some better things filming for you guys, and not have a school pulling her away from it.
Yeah.
So.
And you know what? I think I need a vacation.
We're going on one soon, don't worry.
Okay, thanks, dear.
All right. So good news for you guys is Mrs. Wizard will be able to dedicate more time to filming. And you guys have been asking about bus videos. We've actually been waiting for this moment to do the take your job and shove it thing. And that has been done now. So she can be here daily, getting some work done on the bus. And it'll be great videos for you guys. It's kind of sad and kind of happy at the same time, but mostly happy. You guys, you know, it would be a very happy occasion. So back to this car. This is a 2009 Buick Lucerne, not with the 3.8, but with the 3.9, which is in the same family as the 3.4 and the 3.1 and the 2.8, and they're really kind of a big family. This is the larger version of that engine, which it actually is a decent engine. It's not bad. We're going to talk about today how there was lots of talk during COVID that once this recession, I don't even know if we're in a recession, but whatever things started to cool off with the economy, that used car prices would finally come back down to earth. Have they? Nope. They're still way up here where they were a year ago. Some things have cooled off here or there, but for the most part, it's not as much as we thought it would. The reason for that, new cars, brand new cars, 2023, 2024 cars that they're talking about are garbage. You guys just watched the Mazda video, the CX-9, how much garbage that they bolted to that engine for emissions and turbo and all this stuff, and it's all plastic, cheap stuff, and it all breaks, and they're made very poorly. That is the prospect of the future, or the present going forward, with new cars. I don't care what brand it is. Toyota will still be the best, but even they may fall into that trap. So these older cars are still holding strong to their value. The old saying, they don't make them like they used to, that's actually becoming true. Very true. 2024 cars, 2023 cars are not made as well as 2009 or 2002, 2005, 1997. They're not made that well anymore. Even the common person who's not a car nut is now starting to figure this out and know this. So we're going to put over $1,000 into this car. I'm not sure the exact amount yet. I haven't tallied the full bill up. Somewhere $1,000, $1,500 range. And this car it's in good shape, but it's got some dents and some dings and some miles on it. And the customer asked, is it really worth it, Car Wizard, to put this kind of money into this car? I want to get it ready so I can cruise around and not have a bunch of things wrong. Or should I look for another car? I said, you should definitely. In this economy, what we're dealing with today, you should fix your car. It'll be way cheaper. The $1,000, $1,500 that you will put into this car, you cannot go buy another car for that runs and will be as nice, even with the dents and dings, as this car. Very, very easy math. Let's take a look around this thing. Here we are on the front of this Lucerne. It looks like your common everyday Buick. It's nothing fancy, it's nothing special, but it actually is a pretty good car. You can see underneath the headlamp, we're already starting to see the damage I'm talking about. It's been scuffed pretty hard right there. Now as we get to the front driver's wheel, you can see it's got a pretty strong dent right there. A little bit of scuffing, also some paint damage there, another dent. Kind of dented pretty hard there. You can see in the reflection in the lower half of this driver's door, there's also a dent there, and up above by the mirror, there's a nice little knuckle-sized dent there as well. As we come around to the back, it's actually pretty decent back here. It's got that diamond pearl paint that I love so much with General Motors. I really love that color on Cadillacs and things. There's some more scrapes on the bumper here. Some things going on there. Not too bad back here. I see another dent right here above the tail lamp. And on the passenger side, it's actually pretty decent. Let's go ahead and jump under the hood. Nice thing about the dents that we see on this car is that they haven't cracked the paint or the clear coat, so water's still not getting in to rust or cause any damage. It might be a little unsightly, but it's not going to rust out the car. One thing that the customers added that's really neat is on this little shock, or strut I should say, this hood strut. It died, so they drilled a hole so you can put this little pin in it. And normally I would recommend putting a new hood strut on, but that is so nifty and it works so well, and it'll never die, it'll never quit on them. Just leave it that way. It doesn't cost anything to do that. There is our GM 3.9 V8. This is not affiliated with the 3.8 Buick V8. This is a common engine. These go all the way back to the 80s, guys, with the 2.8 that was in Camaros and S10s. This is the 60-degree V6. You can see the cylinder heads are actually very close together. And at 3.4s did have issues with head gaskets and things. And they did have some issues along that line, but the 2.8, some of them, although they're not very powerful, they really did last a long, long time. They're a good motor. Not legendary like the 3.8, but they still are a good motor. There is a little bit of seepage you can see from the valve covers, but it's so small. I told the customer it's just not worth tearing all this apart. It's not even dripping, it's not smelling. I told him, come back later if it gets worse. Otherwise, it's not worth tearing it down. Some shops you go to, they see every little nut and bolt and everything. They write a list that's 3 pages long, $7 grand worth of work, and they tell you, if you don't fix all this stuff, your car's going to catch on fire. It's going to crash. It's dangerous. No, it's not. That leak will probably not increase or get worse for 2 or 3 years. At that time, the customer can worry about it and we can address it and get it solved. Right now, the customer can use that money to do other things in their life. This does not need to be done. We did check all the fluids. Actually, Danielson's the one checking all this out because Magic Mike, as you guys already know, no longer works here. I have another really awesome technician in the works that will be here, and we'll introduce that person when they arrive. Transmission fluid, coolant, brake fluid, power steering, engine oil, everything on this car is in good shape. We did an inspection. It does not need fluid flushes or anything like that. Everything's clean and clear and really nice. Let's go ahead and hop into the interior.
There we go, ladies and gents. 90,071 miles. So as the wizard said, it does have some miles on here, but nothing crazy, nothing too outrageous. Not like it has 300,000 miles on it, so it does have a lot of life left in it. And we can see that gauge cluster looks really nice. 3 simple circles with that lovely wood surrounding it. As we move up, this is in really great shape. Look at the dash. There's nothing going on up there. It's just some textured vinyl up there, but it's in good shape. No marks, cracks, or crevices, as we say. As we move down, you'll see that it has a lovely map on there. And yes, we are located right there, right off of Meridian Street on First Street. So, okay, that's kind of nice. As we move down, we can see we have more of our wood. Got a simple shifter as well because this would be an automatic. Hidey hole. Got a few bits and change in there. You can look around. Nothing too crazy. Ooh, more hidey holes. Obviously, we have a cup holder there. Keeps that hidden. Keeps things from falling in. Have a double center one. We have our baby wipes. And we open up the big one and a whole lot of nothing. But it's in really good condition. No just dust and grime or candy wrappers. Okay, so ladies and gents, it's a good thing that I've quit my teaching job because this is almost a sofa on wheels. Not quite. I might have fallen asleep. This would have been a hard day at school, but that is a really comfortable seat. It does have solid leather on the sides with perforated in the center. As we move to our door card, you'll see that we've got lots of camel leather with a little bit of that wood accent as well, with a darker color on top, almost like a taupe. As we move to the back seat, it is very much a bench seat. So we have space for 3 people back there, but look how much of a drop there is. It's kind of hard to see because it's called a camera in a car, but it does have quite a bit of leg space back there, and enough that actually your legs can go down, not feel like you're sitting with your legs out in front of you. The back deck is in really good condition. Lots of camel, and more camel in here. But the headliner is, wow, perfect. Nothing going on, no marks, not even a sag. So here we are, ladies and gents. It's the steering wheel, obviously. And there's not a lot going on here. Some simple controls, nothing fabulous, nothing too crazy, just enough that we can really focus on, listening to some good tunes, interacting with our phone and whatnot, but also keep an eye on that space in front of us because obviously we're driving down the road. So enough of this interior talk. Let's get this up in the air. I'm curious what it looks like on the underneath.
So this is your basic American family car. It's not full of undersheets and belly pans and aerodynamics. That's not the concern of this car. So we're not going to see a whole bunch of aerodynamic plastic pieces underneath here. There is this here. We're probably going to put a couple screws in and help that stay up a little better, but that hides where we can see our radiator, the core support area, and the condenser. Everything's nice and dry there. As I said, there's no undersheets or anything, so wide open, easy to get to everything under here. Here's our oil pan. There is the tiniest little seepage like I talked about that we're not going to really mess with. Here's the transmission pan. Everything's nice and dry there. One thing you're going to see when we move over to here, the brake pads are still good. Everything's nice and tight, but there is a brand new wheel hub inside of there. A wheel bearing, because it was really pretty loose on this side. We put a new hub bearing and a complete new strut assembly. Danielson just finished putting these on, actually. So obviously there's no leaks there. CV boots are good. Sway bar link is good. Nice new strut. Good brake pads. Sway bar link is good. Nothing loose there either. Nice CV boots. You can see that these are fairly easy to work on. You can get to the water pump, the serpentine belt, the AC compressor. Everything is really fairly easy to get to. Not too bad at all. Compared to newer cars today, this thing is a cakewalk to work on. One thing that's nice about these older cars as well is that it doesn't take 17 hours to do everything. It's only 2 or 3. So when it does need to be repaired, it doesn't break the bank with labor. Some of the parts are not that expensive either. So you can buy these cars. They're not cheap like they used to be, but it's cheaper than a new car, and they're fairly cheap to keep running. Here's our primary catalytic converter. It comes to a secondary catalytic converter. And then we have a resonator type of a muffler there. Here is our fuel tank. And the exhaust comes out the middle there to the muffler. Let's go ahead and check. These sway bar links are good. Brake pads are good. The shocks and the air ride suspension is actually still good. Here's our little ride height sensor, still intact, which frequently gets overlooked. Sway bar link is good. Strut is good. Brakes are good. Nothing loose there. Here we have our spare tire area. And really everything's wide open under here. There's, like I said, there's not a bunch of aerodynamic things going on under these cars. Let's go ahead and check the date code on the tires. Make sure when you're purchasing a car to check the date codes. As we can see on this one here, 14th week of 2013. These are 10 years old. And you can see some of the cracking going on the sidewalls. They do have some tread left. We do let the customer know it's time to get some new tires. We'll let them choose their own tire shop. We do not do tires here. So overall, pretty much a clean bill of health. Let's go ahead and get this thing back on the ground. So here's the rough old hub, the wheel bearing that we replaced. This one's going in the scrap bin. And 2 new strut assemblies. They sell these now. It's almost as cheap, or if not cheaper, just to replace the whole thing, spring and all, when you count in the labor to disassemble it all with just a strut cartridge only. Really pretty good deal. So for that 1,000, 1,500 range, it's getting a reverse light replaced, it's getting a wheel hub, it's getting 2 new struts and the labor to do those. It's got the full inspection. We also checked his radio out. He thought something was wrong with it. It was making bzz, 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 bzz type noises all the time. And what it ended up being is it's normal. This has the navigation unit in it. And back in these days, they used a navigation disc, a DVD. And his navigation was running. Anytime you would upload or do something on the map, you could hear the DVD go bzz, 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 bzz. He thought, oh, what's wrong with my radio? There's nothing wrong with it. It's totally normal. If that noise was to be very bothersome to you, you could just use your phone and remove the navigation disc and just don't use it. It's probably out of date anyway, but they usually sell updated discs that you can put in and it'll have more updated information. But are they updating 2023 in a car this old? Probably not. We're also doing a 4-wheel alignment and a few other things on this car, and the bill will be in the range I talked about. This is a very nice car, especially now. It drives like a new car. It's not leaking all over the place. It starts and runs, the AC works, the heater works, everything works. So to put 1,000, 1,500 into a car like this and just keep running it, it is totally 100% worth it. Like I mentioned, I get lots of emails. This car's broken that I have. They're quoting me $2,000 to fix it. Should I fix it? 5 or more years ago, I might say no. Trade it in, get you another car. It'll last a long time and you won't be nickeling and diming. But now, in the world we live in today, the nickeling and diming is still cheaper than a $50,000 new car that's built out of plastic and cheap crap parts. Older cars can actually look more interesting than the newer cars. I'm starting to see on Bring a Trailer in places where you got the Z34 Luminas and the old Grand Prix from '02. And some of the older cars that we used to frown upon are now becoming cool because the alternative is every car looking the same, looking like they made the design off of a picture of an insect, like a mosquito or they all look the same anymore. A Jaguar, a Honda, a Toyota, a Kia. You really have to look hard these days to see what car it is because they don't put any thought into design. They just, yeah, that looks fine, put it out the door. It looks good, good enough, it'll get it sold. You want true design aesthetics, you have to go back 10, sometimes 20 years, which is sad. We're starting to see a lot more in the shop that cars like this are showing up and they say, I want a full inspection. We fully anticipate to maybe fix 1 or 2 items and put it out the door. And we have been surprised 10, 20, 30 times in a row already this year. Fix it all. I don't care if it's $6 grand. Fix all of it. Because I can afford that. I can't afford a $79,000 truck. That's kind of the trend that we're seeing in the shop right now.
Wizard, aren't we about done with this video already?
We're getting close.
Well, don't we have a vacation to pack for?
Yes, we do need to pack for the vacation.
And where are you taking me?
I'm not saying. It's a secret. You'll have to see when we get there.
When we get there. Okay,
when we get there.
Okay.
So again, thanks to you guys that she's able to kind of early retire, semi-retire. It wouldn't be possible or even something that's thought of without you guys out there watching this videos. We're very thankful to that. Again, she'll be able to devote more time to videos and ideas like the bus and different things and more content, which means more really cool videos for you guys. If you're curious what kind of tools we use in the shop, check our Amazon affiliates link in the description below. We get a small cut and we really appreciate it. Make sure to hit the subscribe button because now she has more time to do more things. You're going to see a few changes in the videos. Thanks for watching. You need to go pack now.
I do. You didn't catch me mimicking you, did you?
No.